Most of us in these communities believe that we will not find any individuals alive.
It is what no one wants to hear as the number of dead and missing continues to grow, but that's not stopping a new surge of help as crews enter day 4 in the search for survivors of that devastating Oso mudslide.
Just don't take life for granted.
Shattered communities coming together to heal as they hold out hope that their loved ones are found alive. How you can help those in need.
And a new threat this morning, rain pushing into the region that could make dangerous conditions even worse. The forecast next.
This is Q13 Fox News This Morning.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome here to Q13 Fox News This Morning. I'm Kelly O'Connell.
And I'm Brian Blakely. Good to have you with us. Got Adam Gerke joining us now for the traffic. But before we get to Tim Joyce on today's weather, we do have some updated school information to share with the families this morning. Arlington school buses numbers 9 and 24 are operating on restricted routes today, and school for kids in the Darrington School District start at 10:15.
All right, Tim Joyce standing by to talk about this rain, and this is really the last thing we need right now.
It really is. You can't think of much else except further landslides, which can be triggered by, of course, more rain. A live Doppler radar picture shows what looks like an inundated western Washington, but actually the oranges and yellows you see on here is where the rain is actually falling. The rest of it, a lot of this is what's called virga, which is where the atmosphere is really dry from yesterday's nice and warm temperatures, but when you put some rain through it, it kind of evaporates. So it shows up on the radar, but there's not much of it around. As far as temperatures go, it's incredibly mild out there this morning. Mostly cloudy around Everett at the moment. We're 53 degrees there, 51 around Tacoma, mid to upper 40s around Bremerton, and here in Seattle, we're in the mid 50s. So it is pretty mild, cloudy morning there. Hooded jacket and umbrella will get you through the rest of the day because we're going to have both of the rain moving into the picture, even the possibility for some thunderstorms into the afternoon. Temperatures, though, getting to a high today about 57, and even the chance of a rumble of thunder around the Puget Sound getting into the late afternoon and early evening as temperatures cruise on down towards an overnight low of 45. Now here's Adam. How are the roads?
Yeah, so far this morning we're off to a start that looks to be really pretty fair. US 2, I-5 and past US 2, not a lot to really stand in our way. South 5 and 405. Also a very, very light go yet as folks make their way in towards the Kings and Snohomish County line, our Lake Washington bridge decks. Hard to go wrong here. $1.70 toll in place on the 520 bridge, Valley Freeway, I-5, both from 18 into South Center, free and easy. You're hitting posted speeds pretty much everywhere so far. A good thumbs up. Kelly, Brian, back over to you.
It's going to be tough days for all of us, for these families and the state of Washington.
There are dozens and dozens of families who do not know if their loved ones are still alive.
It is one of the worst natural disasters in our state's history. This morning, the search intensifies to find the missing in the devastating Oso mudslide.
And those search efforts continued through the night in Snohomish County looking for any signs of life.
That is a race against time as we enter the 4th day since the mudslide wiped out the communities around that area. And this morning, reinforcements are on the way. Jeff Van Zandt live in Arlington this morning, where we can expect an update from authorities in just a few hours. Right, Jeff?
Yeah, guys, this is now day 4 of the search and rescue operation, but officials say there's now a slim chance of finding anybody alive. But some of those officials are still hopeful they will find survivors, and we are going to be updated with a press conference here in Arlington at 9 o'clock this morning. So here's the official death toll. It now stands at 14. Reports of those missing or unaccounted for has jumped from 108 to 176. Officials are quick to say, though, they expect that number to go down. Some people could have been counted more than once. Now, today, crews face a new challenge of more rain, which could cause the cliff to crumble even more. More help is on the way, though. President Obama signed a disaster declaration allowing FEMA to tap into every resource they need. The National Guard and an urban search and rescue team is expected to arrive this morning to aid in the search. And Governor Jay Inslee says DOT crews are working hard to clear snow from the Mountain Loop Highway, and that could open as early as tomorrow. Now, conditions for this search cruise have been awful. The mudslide hit Saturday around shortly before 11 a.m. Right away, crews were dealing with mud, sometimes 20 feet deep. Stability of that mud in the hillside have hampered efforts as well, but still, officials are hopeful they'll find survivors.
I'm a man of faith, and I believe in miracles. And you've all reported on incidents worldwide where these things can turn on a dime and somebody can be found. So does that mean we give up? No.
Now, for those looking for loved ones, officials are trying to make it easy for you to help them as they try to identify the dead and eventually the missing as well. And they're asking you to email the names and pictures of the missing to DEM call center at snoco.org. And we do have a link to our webpage at Q13Fox.com. Guys, back to you.
Jeff, thank you. And our team coverage continues this morning in Darrington.
That's where authorities are asking for volunteers to help search for those survivors. Tom Yasminski live there in Darrington. And Tom, some important information on who exactly they want to show up.
Yeah, and I'll get to that in a little bit. Yeah, we're going to have to actually play out right here at the Darrington Fire Department. We are live in Darrington again this morning, a community rocked by what has happened over the weekend here. It's a community that has really come together, offering support for the folks who have lost loved ones any way they can, whether it's providing a meal, a place to stay, at the very least a shoulder to cry on. And now folks here last night got a good update from officials. Check out this video. There was a community meeting held here last night. Governor Inslee was here as well as other leaders. And folks here got the very latest news on what's going on just a couple miles away. At last night's meeting, there was a mention of allowing volunteers to help on the Darrington side. You have a lot of folks frustrated they can't do more. Now they might get that chance.
What they'll need is they'll need a picture ID, and they'll essentially be checked in and they'll be assigned at that point. We have resources. I'm not sure, it depends on the number of people, what other resources are needed, but I think we just need people.
Now, officials aren't asking for people all over our area. They're asking for folks affected right here in the community of Darrington and the nearby surrounding areas like Concrete. Those volunteers are expected to meet here at 6:30. They must have good gear for some treacherous conditions. Understand that there might be some grim discoveries on the other side of those barricades. Again, this is all going to play out right here at the Darrington Fire Department here at 6:30. They're asked to come in here, have all that gear ready, a picture ID, of course, as I mentioned. And again, this is only a local call for folks. We're not talking about a large landscape here, just the folks directly affected by what has happened here. I can tell you on my drive up here, I saw a convoy of cop cars and unmarked trucks hauling ATVs and other equipment. I know there are a lot of people coming to this area to help out any way they can, because you got to think about it. These search and rescue crews have been out there for 2 days now, and it's very difficult to move. It takes 5 minutes to go 10 feet. So a lot of these guys are very weary at this point, and they need a break, and it would be a helpful sight to see more people join in this fight to help try to help find people out there. Guys, back to you.
Yeah, Tom, and it's good to see a lot of people coming out to help, especially with this search and rescue effort here that's so large. Also, a lot of contamination in that mudslide out there, with a lot of things in there that you just don't know about with that slide.
Right.
Yeah.
Watch what happens there. Tom, thank you so much. We appreciate the update. The community, of course, trying to figure out what comes next. You know, they gathered at a vigil last night to pray for the lives lost and also those still missing. Young and old, friends and strangers, they all came together last night in a time of so much uncertainty. We spoke with the Jensen family, who knew one of the victims killed in the slide.
There was a 7th grader at my old school, my middle school post, and his name was JoJo, and we found out today that he died, and it's just really unfortunate because he doesn't deserve to die at such a young age.
Community members say they walked away from the vigil with a sense of family and gratitude for what they have. The grim reality now, after 3 days, officials say the likelihood of finding anyone else alive is very slim.
If you have family or friends still missing, officials need your help.
We're asking that you continue to send us names and photos of your missing family, friends. We're asking that you continue to help us build a list of people that are unaccounted for or missing.
Well, to help out, they ask you that you email the names and the pictures of the missing to DEM call center at snoco.org. We have a link to the address on our website at Q13Fox.com. The Red Cross has set up a website where people can search for loved ones or register to let others know they are okay. It is safeandwell.org. Snohomish County also asking people to call to report someone missing at 425-388-5088. 4 of the 5 people hurt who were taken to Harborview remain in intensive care this morning. 25-year-old Amanda Skorjank is in satisfactory condition. Her son, 6-month-old Duke, is in critical condition but improving. A 37-year-old man is in serious condition, along with a 58-year-old man and an 81-year-old man. We're expecting another update around 8:30 this morning.
We're also now learning more about the raw power of that slide. UW seismologists measured it in 2 waves, 4 minutes apart.
This is the main event and the largest signal, and it lasted the longest, almost 3 minutes.
So when the cliffside gave way, the needles there jumped for nearly an hour. Of course, the big concern we've been talking about it this morning, rain.
Yeah, coming back, the ground is already unstable, and more rain could lead to even more problems.
So Tim Joyce is standing by. He's looking at what search and rescue crews can expect today.
Yeah, they're going to encounter quite a bit of rain coming from the sky. It's going to make the ground really muddy. And that flash flood watch does continue for the area through Snohomish County. So areas downstream from Oso still should be pretty vigilant, especially during daylight hours. And a flood warning continues for the area from the slide, extending up as the water sort of pools. We're going to get early snow melt coming on the front edge of this as before snow levels lower. But overall, we're looking at a lot of light rain in the area right now that's moving into the picture. So live Doppler radar sweeps are picking up a little bit of precipitation. Some of this is hitting the mountains. Some of this is evaporating before it hits the ground. But everybody shares in that heavy rain as we get later into the morning hours, especially around the slide. And this is the good news out of this. This is the North Fork of the Stillaguamish. It's measuring the river height here. This is before the slide, and then nearly nothing on the as far as flow for that. Now the river has found its way through the slide, which is good because it needs to channel that water around the debris field there. So definitely some, at least a little bit of good news overall. Rainfall in Arlington has been incredible for most of Western Washington, but also for Arlington, 7.14 inches so far. And we're even going to see more rain here in the Seattle area as well. Right now, if you're heading out the door, mostly cloudy skies and mild, but rain is coming back into the picture. We'll have full details on the forecast coming up in about 10 minutes. Guys, back to you.
Tim, thank you. Most of the homes destroyed in that slide likely won't be covered by insurance. The Northwest Insurance Council says the scope of the devastation really highlights the need for special insurance if you own property above or below a steep slope. Property owners in high-risk areas need special coverage that is not included in your standard home or business insurance policy. It's very expensive and available through specialty carriers.
If you still want to help out, the Red Cross needs cash donations right now. They have a lot of food and clothing, too much so for right now. And if you want to help, call 1-800-RED-CROSS or text the word Red Cross to 90999, and $10 will be charged to your cell phone bill. You can also donate online at redcross.org. We posted all this information on our website at Q13Fox.com. Stay with us for the very latest on the deadly mudslide. We have a team of reporters on the ground in Snohomish County right now. And for more information, including pictures and video from the slide, head to our website at Q13Fox.com. Coming up next, Russia out of the G8, that is. June summit in Sochi canceled. The latest on the push to isolate Moscow for invading Crimea.
Plus, weather hampers the search for missing Malaysia Air Flight 370. This as the frustration boils over for the families of those passengers. New information straight ahead.
And taking a look at the roads so far this morning, we're off to a fine start. No major delays for us, but if we find anything in the next few minutes, we'll let you know coming up next.